Genesis chapter 32, verse 22 onwards.
22 वचन.
This is we will be studying or reading from the life of Jacob.
आम्ही जेकबाच्या जिवितांतून शिकतले.
The theme is, what I want to speak about is from verse 26 that says, I will not let you go unless you bless me.
ज्या विशयाचेर आमी उलोवपाचे आसा ते 32 त्या वचन आसा जे म्हणटा की हांव तुका सोडचें ना ज्या पर्यंत तूं म्हाजेर बेसांव घालतलो.
Verse 26 which says, I will not let you go unless you bless me.
26 वचन म्हणटा की हांव तुका वचोंक दिवची ना ज्या पर्यंत तूं म्हाजेर बेसांव घालची ना.
If you actually see about the life of Jacob,
आमी जेकबाच्या जिवितांत पळोवंक गेल्यार
when he makes this prayer,
जेन्ना तो हे मागणी कोत्ता
or when he makes this demand,
आनी जेन्ना हे मागणी कोत्ता तो,
you will see that Jacob's life is a blessed life actually, materialistically.
आमी पळयता जेकबाच्या जिवितांत ते बेसांव आसले, सगल्यो वस्तू आसले तेच्या जिवितांत.
He was prosperous.
तो सारको गिरेस्त मनीस
He
आसलो.
was wealthy at this time.
तो धोनी आसलो ह्या वेळार.
So when he's saying, bless me, what does he actually mean?
तो जेन्ना तो म्हणटा की म्हाका आशीर्वादीत कर, कितें काय तेजो अर्थ जावन आसा.
Let's read from verse 22.
आमी 22 वचन वाचया.
That same night he arose and took his 2 wives, his 2 female servants, and his 11 children, and crossed the ford of the Jabbok. He took them and sent them across the stream and everything else that he had. And Jacob was left alone. Now Jacob is about to meet his brother Esau.
आता जेकबाला भाग मेळपाचो आसा इसाक.
And Jacob is very scared.
आनी आता जेकब सामको भिलोलो आसा.
Because he's going to be meeting a brother that he has deceived.
कित्याक तो आपले भाग मेळपाचो आसा जेका ताणें नागयलोलो.
He's going to meet his brother
तो आपले भाग मेळपाचो
with
आसा.
whom he has had tiffs in the past.
तेजी सांगता तेजो दुस्पट आसलोलो आदी.
And he's afraid.
आनी तो आता भिलोलो आसा.
You see, if you actually study Jacob's life,
आमी जेकबाचे जिवीत शिकोंक
you
गेले.
will see a lot of things in the past
आमी पळयता खुबश्यो गोश्टी आदलीच्या जिवितांत तेच्या
which were not right,
ज्यो सारक्यो नासल्यो.
which must have impacted his inner man,
जायत करून तेजे भितरल्या मनशाचे प्रभाव घातलो त्या
which
वस्तींनी.
must have begun to change him to become what he was at that point of time.
जायत करून तेका बदललो की तो जावपाक ज्या वेळ जसो आसलो तो त्या वेळार.
First and foremost, we see in BC the name Jacob,
पयली म्हटल्यार आमी जे नांव पळयता तेजे जेकब,
which means supplanter or deceiver.
तेका म्हणटा की फोटो बी नागोवपी.
Can you imagine a parent keeping the name of a child deceiver?
तुम्ही चिंतूंक शकता काय आवय बापूय आसा तो आपल्या भुरग्याचे नाव दवरता फोटोवपी म्हणून, नागोवपी
Hey,
म्हणून.
photopi inga yore. Nagopi, yo inga sir. Can you imagine the parent keeping the name of a child in such a manner?
तुम्ही चिंतूंक शकता काय म्हणजे आवय बापूय आसा ते आपल्या भुरग्याचे अशे भशेन नाव दवरता.
In another portion of the Bible, I can't remember the name, Jabez. Pain, yes. In another portion of the Bible, the parent keeps the name of a child Jabez.
आणि एक बायबलन भागार पळोवंक गेल्यार आवय बापूय आसा ते नाव दवरता आपल्या पुताचे जबेज.
Jabez means pain.
जबेज म्हटल्यार दुख.
Pain, come here.
दुख हांगासर यो.
Pain, sit down.
दुख बस
Can
हांगासर.
you imagine?
तुम्ही चिंतूंक शकता काय जेकब
is being called deceiver.
तेका हांव पळयता उलो मात नागोवनो म्हणून फटकिरो म्हणून.
So when he looks at his parents,
तो जेन्ना तो आपल्या आवय
or
बापायक
when he
पळयता,
would look at his father, because his father loved Esau,
जेन्ना तो आपल्या बापायक पळयता कित्याक तेजो बापूय इसावचो चड मोग
what
करी.
must have been playing in the heart of Jacob?
कितें काय काळजान चलताली जेकबाच्या.
Jacob must have been struggling.
जेकब जायत करून झुजतालो.
Jacob must have said, why did you ever name me that name?
जेकबान म्हटलं असतं कित्याक काय तसलें नाव दिलें तुवें म्हाका.
When we go into Genesis 25,
जेनेसिस 25 आनी पळोवंक गेल्यार
we see another part of Jacob.
आमी आनी एक भाग पळयता जेकबाचे
In
जिवितांत.
Genesis 25 verse 22 onwards,
22 वचन.
now Jacob and Esau are in the womb of their mother.
आता जेकब आनी इसाव कुसव्यान आसता आपल्या आवयच्या.
And it says in verse 22,
आनी 22 वचन म्हणटा
the children struggled together within her.
तेच्या भितर भुरगीं झगडूंक लागलीं.
And she said, if it is thus, why is this happening to me?
अशें जाल्यार कित्याक अशें जाता म्हाज्या सांगात.
So she went to inquire of the Lord, and the Lord said to her, 2 nations are in your womb.
तर ती देवाकडे गेली विचारपाक आनी देवान सांगलें 2 राष्ट्र आसा तुज्या कुसव्यान.
2 peoples from within you shall be divided.
2 भाग आसा ते जातले राजवटकीचे.
The one shall be stronger than the other.
एक दुसऱ्याच्याकून बळिश्ट आसतलो.
The older shall serve the younger.
जो व्हडलो आसा तो धाकट्याची चाकरी करतलो.
And then in verse 24, when her days to give birth were completed, behold, there were twins in her womb. In those days they did not have all the scanning, and so whether she had twins, it would only be after the birth.
तर त्या स्कॅनिंग नासलेले आणि जुवी असलेले जाल्यार भुरगे जावन कवतले असले.
The first came out red, all his body like a hairy cloak, so they called his name Esau. And afterward his brother came out with his hand holding Esau's heel, so his name was called Jacob. Okay, so we see now
तर आम्ही आता पळयता हांगासर
in the womb
कुसव्यान
the children or Jacob and Esau are having a strife.
जेकब आणि ईसाव
There's a
तेंची
problem
झगडी
happening.
चलतात, त्रास जाता थंयसर भितर.
It says here, okay, if you read verse 26, he says 25 verse 22, the children struggled together within her.
भुरगीं झुजताल तेच्या भितरूच.
Then if you go into Genesis 25 verse 29, Jacob and Esau are having another tiff.
जेकब आणि ईसावचं पोंगेला आणि एक झगडी झुज जाता.
Once when Jacob verse 29 onwards, once when Jacob was cooking stew, Esau came in from the field and he was exhausted. Verse 30. And Esau said to Jacob, let me eat some of that red stew, for I am exhausted. Therefore his name was called Edom. Verse 31, Jacob said, sell me your birthright. Esau said, I am about to die. Of what use is a birthright to me? Now Esau is hungry.
आता ईसाव भुकेलो आसा.
He wants to eat.
तेका खावपाक जाय.
And Jacob is saying,
आणि जेकब म्हणटा,
you give me your birthright,
तू तुझो जन्माचो अधिकार दी
then
म्हाका,
I'll give you to eat.
मागीर हांव तुका खावपाक दितलो,
You
जेवपाक
see
दितलो.
the tiffs that have been taking place in Jacob's life.
आमी पळयता दुस्पूर जेकबाच्या जिवितान चलता.
The way Jacob is dealing with
ज्या
circumstances.
भशेन जेकब काम करता आपल्या
The way
परिस्थितीचेर,
Jacob is speaking.
ज्या भशेन जेकब उलयता,
There is definitely a character of this man being exposed.
कितें पण स्वभाव आनी चरित्र ह्या मनशाचें आमकां कळोन येता.
How many of us know
कितली जाणां काय आमी जाणा,
our past is what makes us what we are today?
आमचें odलें जिवीत आसा तें आमकां कोता जें कितें आमी आसा आयज.
Our past, the experiences that we have gone through in life in the days gone by, is what has made us today.
जे आदल्या दिसांनी ज्या अनुभवांसान आमी पासार जाल्ले आसा तेच आमकां कोता जें कितें आमी आसा आयज.
When you look into Jacob's life,
जेन्ना आमी जेकबाच्या जिवितान
a
पळयता,
man that is going through strife,
हो मनीस दोगड्यांचो
a
दुस्पटांचो
man
पासार
that is
जाता,
being called a deceiver,
ज्या मनशाक नागोन फटकिरो म्हटलेलो
a
आसा,
man who's having a relationship problem with his brother,
ह्या मनशा तो भाव सांगता आपल्या संबंधान
a
त्रास
man
जाता.
who's scheming his ways to be
हो
blessed,
मनीस योजिता की तेका आशीर्वाद
a
मेळपाक.
man who's making all possible plans to cheat and get his way.
हो मनीस आसा तो सगळ्यो येवजणी करता की नागोन करून आपल्याक बळपण मेळपाक.
In Genesis 27,
जेनेसिस 27 आन
we'll see
पळयल्यार
now Jacob deceives his father.
आमी पळयता जेकब आसा तो आपल्या बापायक नागयता आता,
He
फटयता.
begins to deceive his father to receive the blessings that his father was supposed to give
तो
Esau.
आपल्या बापायक फटयता जे बेसांव घेवपाक जे तो इसावक दिवपाचो आसलेलो.
In all these things,
हे सगळे वस्तींनी
the character of Jacob is being formed.
जेकबाचो स्वभाव कोण येता आमकां घडटा तेजो.
Then we see another thing happening.
मागीर आमी पळयता आनी एक वस्त घडटा ती.
Now his father sends him away.
आतां तेजो बापूय ताका पयस धाडटा.
As he's leaving his father, he goes empty-handed.
जसो तो पयस येता तेन्ना तो रित्या हातीन
He
येता,
goes with nothing.
कांय चोरून नासतना येता.
Sogle gres काय अजून बापायसोशीच हा. Everything is with the father.
सगळे बापाय कडेनच आसा.
He's left empty-handed.
तो रित्या हातीन भायर
He
सरता.
meets his uncle Laban.
तो आपल्या अंकलाक मेळता लबानाक.
Laban makes him work for 20 years.
लबान ताका 20 वर्सां काम करूंक लायता.
And then another more years.
आनी मागीर आनीक मायज वर्सां.
In all these
हे
things,
सगळे वस्तींनी
we see a man's character being formed.
आमी पळयता एक मनशाचें चरित्र घडोवन येता.
A hard life,
कठीण
a
जिवीत,
struggling life,
झुजता तसलें
a
जिवीत,
deceiving life,
फटयता तसलें
a
जिवीत,
painful life.
एक दुखेस्त जिवीत.
When he leaves Laban,
जेन्ना तो लबानांक सोडून
he
वयता
comes out rich.
तो गिरेस जावन भायर सरता
He's got a great flock.
मोठी तेजे कडेन
He's
जानवर
got
आसा
a good business.
बरो धंदो आसा आतां तेजे
He's
कडेन
got children.
भुरगीं आसा आतां
He's got wives.
बायलो आसा
Everything seems to be well.
सगळे बरे कशें चलता
But there is an inner struggle in the life of Jacob.
पूण तो भितरसान झुजता जेकब
You know, when we look into our lives today,
जेन्ना आमी आयज आमच्या जिवितान पळयता
everything seems to be set so well.
सगळे सारकें आसा कशें
Some
दिसता
of you may be saying, I'm financially very sound
थोडी जाणां
today.
म्हणटली की आमी पयशाच्या बाबतींत सारकी स्थिर आसा
Some of you may be saying, I've got my family life and everything is so perfect.
थोडी जाणां म्हणटली माझी फॅमिलीची जिवीत आसा आनी सारकें उत्तम चलता
But
सगळें
there are things of the past
पूण अदल्या जिविताच्यो वस्ती
that do not let us live life to the fullest.
जे आमकां संपूर्ण कांय जिवीत जिवंक दिना
You see, as Jacob is going to meet Esau,
जसो जेकब इसाक मेळोंक वयता
why is he afraid?
कित्याक तो भिलोलो आसा
Why is he so scared?
कित्याक तो इतको भिलोलो
Because
आसा
the past history is there.
कित्याक इतिहास अदली जिवीत आसा
What
तेचे
he has done,
कितें तेणे
the
केलेलें
life
तें
that he has lived,
जे जिवीत तो जियेलोलो
is
तें
still haunting him.
ते अजून लेगीत तेका
And
गुडास
unless
करता
and until you don't meet with
आनी
God,
ज्या पर्यंत तूं देवाक मेळना
that past cannot be healed.
ते अदले जिवितांतल्यान तुका पेकोवणी मेळोंक
You will
शकना
not be able to overcome those barriers of the past.
सो तूं त्या आडकोळीचेर जैतिवंत जावंक पावची ना अदल्या
There's so
जिविताच्या
many things that we are today
खुबशे आमी आसा आयज
because of what the past is
जे कितें
has done to us.
जे कितें अदल्या जिवितान आमच्या सांगात केलेलें आसा तेका
Some of
लागून
us live in fear.
थोडी जाणां भिरांतेंची
Some
येता
of us live in anxiety.
थोडी जाणां आमी भारांची
Some
येता
of us find it so difficult to relate to people.
थोडी जाणांक आमकां कठीण भक्त दुसऱ्या कडेन
Some
उलोवपाक
of us are introverts.
थोडी जाणां आपल्यात भितर आसता
Some of us are feel so inferior of themselves.
थोडे जाणांक आपुणूच कितलो वायट कसो दिसता
And all these inner struggles.
आनी हे सगळे भितरले झूज
Maybe on the outside we show nothing's wrong.
जायत करून भायर आमी दाखयता कांयच वायट
Maybe on the
ना
outside we show, hey, I'm strong.
जायत करून भायर आमी दाखयता हांव बळिश्ट
On the outside everything is great for me.
भायर सगळे बरे कशे दिसता
But
म्हाजे
there are
पासत
things on the inside that don't let us live to the fullest.
पूण भितर थोडी गोष्टी आसा ज्यो आमकां संपूर्ण कांय जिवंक दिना
And that's what Jacob is going through.
आनी तितूनसान जेकब पासार
An
जाता
inner struggle.
भितरल्या झुजान
Everything is good outside,
भायरसान सगळे बरें आसा
but there's a struggle on the inside.
पूण भितर झूज चलता
And
तेच्या
some of us are exactly in that
आनी
life.
थोडी जाणां त्याच जिवितान आसा
Good outside,
भायरसान सगळे बरें
good outside,
बरें सारकें भायरसान
struggle on the
पूण
inside.
भितरसान झूज चलता
But something very striking that Jacob does.
पूण कितें पण अच्चाबाचे जेकब करता
In Genesis 32, let's go back there. Genesis 32,
जेनेसिस 32
verse 23. Sorry, verse 24. And it says, and Jacob was left alone.
आनी जेकब एकसुरत आसलो
He was alone.
तो एकसुरत आसलो
Alone.
एकसुरो
Do you know,
तुम्ही जाणा काय
for God to begin a good work in your life,
देवान बरें काम कमेस करपाक तुज्या
you
जिवितान
need to move out or away from people around you.
तुजे सोरभोवतून जे लोक आसा तेंचे कडच्यान पयस वचोंक जाय
You
तुवें
need to keep yourself at the feet of
तुवें
God.
आपल्याक देवाच्या पांय सरशी दवरूंक
You
जाय
need to keep away from everything else that would tear your life apart and move closer to God.
सगळी जी तुजे जिवीत पिंतल्या देवाच्या कडून पयस वता तेका तुवें कुशीक दवरूंक
You
जाय
see, Moses,
मोजसाक पळोवंक गेल्यार
when he was alone with God,
जेन्ना तो एकसुरो आसलो देवा
he
सांगता
came back a transformed man.
तो बदललेलो मनीस जावन भायर
When
सरलो
Moses was with God
जेन्ना मोज देवा सांगता
at the
आसलो
mountaintop at the burning bush, कडेन, okay, when Moses met God
जेन्ना
there,
मोजीस देवाक मेवलो थंय
what we see happening,
आमी कितें पळयता थंय घडटा तें
Moses tells God
मोजीस देवाक सांगता
all his weaknesses.
सगळे आपले उस्कोतकाय
Moses begins to say, who am I?
मोजीस कॉमेस करता म्हणून की कोण हांव कोण
Who will recognize me?
कोण म्हाका
I
वळखतलो
cannot talk.
म्हाजे कडेन उलोवंक
You see,
जायना
he begins to talk all his weaknesses.
तो आपले सगळे उस्कोतकाय सांगूंक
But
लागता
the good thing about Moses
पूण
was,
बरी खबर आसलेली
he
मोजीसा
was
विशीं
alone with God.
की तो एकसूर आसलो देवा
He was
सांगता
alone with
तो
God.
एकसूर असेल त्या सांगता
alone with God.
एकसूर असेल
We
त्या
see now
सांगता
Jacob here,
आम्ही आता जेकबाक पळयता
alone with
तो
God.
एकसूर असा त्या सांगता
Alone, he's alone.
तो एकसूर असा
We see the life of Paul.
आणि पौलाच्या जिवितान
When we
पळोवंक
go to
गेल्यार
Galatians chapter 1,
गलेशियन्स चॅप्टर 1
we
पळोवंक
see
गेल्यार
Paul writes his story.
आमी पळयता पौल आपली काणी
Paul
बरयता
writes his testimony.
पौल आपली गोवायकी बरयता
After Paul met with Jesus,
पौल जेजूक मेवल्या उपरांत
after Paul had that experience, that encounter experience,
तो अनुभव जाल्या उपरांत त्या सांगता
in
पौलाचो
Galatians chapter 1 verse 12, Paul writes, he says, for I did not receive it, that is teachings or understandings from any man, nor was I taught it, but I received through a revelation of Jesus Christ. Then he writes in verse 17, he says, nor did I go up to Jerusalem to those who were apostles before me, but I went into Arabia and returned again to Damascus. Approximately 1 year of Paul's life, approximately 1 year of Paul's life or so, he was in the desert of Arabia.
सुमार एक वर्षाच्या वेळ पौल एकसूर आसलो अरण्यात अरेबियाच्या
He was alone with his God.
तो एकसूर आसलो आपल्या त्या सांगता
And we see today, even today when we read the letters of Paul, we come back edified.
आमी पळयता आयज लेगीचे आमी पौलाची चिठी वाचता तेन्ना आमी उर्बेवन जावन भायर सरता
How did it all start?
कशें काय कोमेस जालें
His
तें
time with God.
तेजो वेळ त्या
You see,
सांगता
our transformation
आमची बदलप
begins when we spend time with God.
कोमेस जाता जेन्ना आमी त्या सांगता वेळ सारता
Congregation prayer is good.
जम्याचे मागणे बरे जावन आसा
Meeting together is good.
एका सांगता मेव बरे जावन
But your
आसा
time with God,
पूण तुजो वेळ त्या सांगता
moving out and spending time alone with your God,
भायर सोडून त्या सांगता एकसूर
will
वेळ
begin
सारप
to bring your transformation.
तितून सानूच तुजे बदलप कोमेस
And
जातले
that's what happened to Jacob in Genesis 32.
आणि तेच जालें जेकब सांगता जेन्स
It says, and Jacob was left
आणि
alone.
अशें म्हणटा की जेकब एकसूर आसलेलो
Later it says, and a man wrestled with him until the breaking of the day.
आणि मागीर म्हटलें आसा की एक मनीस आसलो तो झुजतालो तेजे सांगता
As we read further, we will come to know it was a God or an angel of God.
मुखार वाचून गेल्यार आमकां कळटा की देव आसलो ना तुका देवाचो आंज आसतलो
He encountered his God.
देवा सांगता तेजो अनुभव जालो
In a struggle,
ते भितरलें झूज
could only be, he could be released from it
तेका तितून सुटका मेळोंक पावली
with his encounter with God.
जेन्ना देवा सांगता तेजो अनुभव जालो
Encounter with God.
देवा सांगता अनुभव जालो
And that's why when he says, I will not let you go unless you bless me,
त्या खातीर तो म्हणटा हांव तुका वचोंक दिवची ना जे पर्यंत म्हाजेर बेसांव घालिना
he's not talking about materialistic
तो
blessing.
वस्तीच्या बेसांव विशीं उलयना
He had a big flock.
कित्याक खूब तेजे कडेन जानवर आसलेलीं
He's talking about the favor of God over his life.
तो देवाच्या फावरा विशीं उलयतालो आपल्या
And he's
जिविताचेर
talking about his inner man.
आनी तो आपल्या भितरल्या मनशा विशीं
Inner
उलयतालो
man
तो
transformation.
भितरलो मनीस बदलपाक
You know what strikes me the most? He says, I will not let you go.
जे म्हाका चड अशें भशेन दिसता की तो म्हणटा की हांव तुका वचोंकूच दिवची ना
Isn't that aggressive behavior? You know, it's like I come to your house and then you shut the door and says, I will not let you go.
हांव
You
तुजी-
lock the door and you say, come on, show and go. Show if you can go. I'm going to lock you. You're locked inside. That's aggressive behavior.
हांव तर तुज्या घरा येयलो आनी तूं दार बंद कर म्हणटा हांव तुका वचोंकूच दिवची ना हांव तुका वचोंकूच दिवची ना तें जावन आसा नेट्यान उलोवप
You know,
तें
some days back, my kids and I were playing. My daughter was playing with me and
थोडे दिस आदी म्हाजी सांगता हेवताली
she pushed the door and she said, Dada, I'm not going to let you go.
आनी तेणी दार बंद करून म्हटलें दादा हांव तुका वचोंक
I
दिवची ना
can just lift her and push her aside, but she wanted to play.
हांवें ताका उखलून अशी कुशीक धरूंक जाता
I'm
पूण ताका
not
हेवंक
going to
जाय
let you go.
तें म्हणून लागलें हांव वचोंक दिवची ना
I'm
तुका
not going to let you
हांव
go.
वचोंक दिवचीच ना
And she was
तुका
aggressive, if you know, pulling me and pushing me. Aggressive,
आनी
aggression.
तें नेटान उलयतालें
You know, the Bible says
बायबल म्हणटा
the kingdom of God has suffered violence, but it is the violent that take the kingdom of God by force.
देवाचे राजवट केस नेटान गेलेले आसा पूण ती नेटान काम करपी आसता तेच देवाचे उतर
The violent take the kingdom of God by force.
देवाचे जे नेटान काम करपी आसता तेच देवाची राजवट
That
करता
means those who force themselves in or those who are aggressive in their faith are the ones who are going to experience the power of the
म्हणजे
kingdom.
जे कोण नेट अनुभवता आपल्या भावार्थान तेच देवाची पदवी पळयता राजवट
You see
केसी
that woman bleeding 12 years?
त्या उस्तुरेक पळोवंक गेल्यार 12 वर्सां तिका रक्तपात जातालो
She did not sit at home.
ती घरा बसून रावंक
She
ना
was aggressive in her faith.
ती भावार्थान नेट कोत्ताली
She said, if I only touch the hem of his
ती
garment.
म्हणाली हांव तिच्या आंगोस्ताकूत हात लायत
She was
जाल्यार
aggressive in her belief.
ती आपल्या विश्वासान आपल्या भावार्थान
And she
नेट
went back
करताली
receiving.
आणि ती घेऊनच गेली
Her aggression brought forth her miracle.
तिचे नेटान तिचो मिलाग्र आल्लो
जायते पावटी आमी म्हणटात देवाक जाय जाल्यार देव हात लायतलो म्हाका. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. देवा यो तुका जाय जाल्यार तूं हात लाय म्हाका. But I tell you, when you're aggressive,
हांव तुमकां जेन्ना तूं नेट कोत्ता
some meetings back, somebody came and testified and said, you know what, as they came for the meeting, they said, God, today you have to bless me.
तर दिसा कोणी पण अशें म्हटलें की देवा आयज तुवें म्हणजे बेसाव घालूकच जाय
Today you have to do something for me.
आयज कितें पूण करूकच जाय
And
तुवें
I've
म्हाजे
heard so many people say that.
आनी हांवें खूब लोकांक आयकलां आसा तशें म्हणटा ते
Some time back, somebody has we were praying.
तर जेन्ना आमी मागणी कोत्ताली
Somebody who had entered the meeting said, God, you've got to tell that brother to take my name today. It has to happen now.
कोणी पण सांगलें ब्रदर देवा तुवें ब्रदराक सांगूंक जाय म्हाजें नांव घेवंक जाय म्हणून
And
आयज
as they entered,
आनी जशी भितर
God
सरली
takes the name.
देव नांव घेता तेंचें
Aggressive.
नेट करप
You need to be aggressive in your faith with God.
तुवें नेट करूंक जाय तुज्या भावार्थान देवा
ते
सांगाता
सुसेगाद पण देवाचे भितर चलचे ना. आमी म्हणटा न्हू गोंयकार सुसेगाद. Some of the outsiders when they come they say 2 ते 4 सगळे शॉपां आदी बंद आसताले म्हणून. We cannot have a relaxed faith.
आमचो सारको सुसेगाद भावार्थ आसूंक
We need
जायना
to be aggressive in our faith.
आमी सारकी नेट करूंक जाय आमच्या भावार्थान
We see Zacchaeus.
आमी जॅकिसाक पळोवंक
त्याने
गेल्यार
म्हणूंक ना चड गर्दी हा. आमी म्हणटा when I go to a crowded place in the mall and all, I don't like crowds. So I will just say forget it, let's go back home. No, Zacchaeus could have said चड गर्दी हा म्हाका दिसती पडना मोठो आहा न्ही चल घरा या बॅल्कनी सीट मेवता तेन्ना पळोवया. तेणें तशें करूंक ना. He said I can't see him here. I'm running ahead. तो त्या रस्त्यार वयता न्हू हो पळय तो रस्तो चल हांवें धांवन झाडाचेर come on. I went and saw the sycamore tree.
सिकमोराचें झाड पयलें तें इस्रायलान
It's quite a huge trunk.
बरें व्हडलें झाड आसता तें
If that is the tree, some of them say that's the tree. I don't know.
थोडे जाण म्हणटा तें झाड म्हणून तें
But it's a huge tree.
पूण सारकें मोठें झाड तें
And Zacchaeus was aggressive.
आनी जॅकी सारको नेट करी
Aggressive.
नेट करी
His aggression,
तेजी नेट करप
Jesus stopped
जेजू थांबलो
and said, Zacchaeus, I'm
म्हणलें,
coming to your house.
जॅकिसा तुज्या घरा येता
We see the Syrophoenician woman
आमी सायरोफोनेशियन अस्तरेक पळोवंक गेल्यार
in Matthew 15, verse 21.
मेतयाचें शुभ वर्तमान 15व्या विस्वरान 21 वय
If you and I were in this woman's place, let's see whether we would be the same.
तूं आनी हांव तरी अस्तरेच्या जाग्यार आसले आमी अशीच आसतली आसलेली काय
Matthew 15, verse 21 onwards. Okay, let's not go the full details. Let's go to verse 24.
24 वळीन या
Now this woman comes to Jesus for a miracle.
आता ह्यो अस्तुरी येता जेजूची मिलाग्रा
And
पासत
Jesus is telling her,
आनी जेजू तेका म्हणटा
I was only sent to the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
म्हाका फक्त धाडलेले इस्रायलाचे शेणलेले मेंढरा पासत
That means what Jesus is saying,
म्हणजे जेजू असो म्हणटा
अरे म्हाका तुका लागून धाडूंक ना हिंगासर. हांव तुका लागून येवंक ना. What? I have not come for you. I have come for the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
हांव तुजे पासत येवंक ना हांव फक्त इस्रायलाच्या शेणलेले मेंढरा पासत येयलेलो आसा
Rejection.
नाकारपण
What we would do?
आमी कितें करपाची
म्हाका लागून येवंक ना तो. मागीर पळय then after still she stayed back.
तोरी ती रावता
It says there in verse 25, but she came and knelt before him saying, Lord help me. आता चुचुरे दिसपाचे न्हू कोण धीमी घालता अशें पळय धीमी घालून yes or no चुचुरे दिसूंक जाय आसलें. Then see what he says. She knelt before him saying, Lord help me. Verse 26, it is not right to take the children's bread and throw it to dogs.
जेजू तेका म्हणटा अशें बरें न्हय की भुरग्यां सोंड आसा तो घालून सुण्यांक दिवपाचो
म्हणल्यार भुरग्यांचे जेवण सुण्याक कशें दिवंक जाता तेका कितें म्हणलें सुणो म्हणलो तेका. आमी कितें करपाचें म्हाका सुणो म्हणला एका देवाचो मनीस म्हणटा देव देव कोत्ता हो मागणें करूंक वयता तो दोंगरार 3 वरां 4 वरां आनी आतां म्हाका सुणो म्हणटा. Wouldn't we have been the same?
आमी तशी करची नासलेली काय
Would we still stay
आमी तोरी रावपाची
waiting for a miracle?
मिलाग्र पळोवपाक
This woman was aggressive.
ह्यो अस्तुरी नीट
She
करताली
said, no, I'm not going to go back till I get it.
ती म्हणली हांव वयचीच ना म्हाका मेवले पर्यंत
हांवें आयकलां तुजे वरवीं बेसांव मेवता हांव आतां वयचोच ना बेसांव घेव शिवाय. And I call on. She must have heard the
तिने
miracles of Jesus.
ऐकलेलं असतं जेजू विषयी मिलाग्रा.
जेजून ताका पहिले कितें म्हणलें, हांव तुका लागून येवंक ना हिंगा, चल बेश मार. In a way it means that only, I am not come for you. Why you are wasting your time here? मागीर जेजू कितें म्हणटा, सुण्या तुका लागून येवंक ना हांव. भुरग्यांचें जेवण तुका दिवंक जाता हांवें. You and I would have gone back.
तू आणि हांव परते वयतले
But
आसलेले.
this woman says, no, I'm
पूण
not
ह्यो
going to go back.
तरी म्हणटा ना वयचेच ना.
She says, even the dogs eat leftovers.
ती म्हणटात सुनी लेगीत हाता उरलेले.
Let's see what she says. It says, yes, Lord, verse 27. Yes, Lord, yet even the dogs eat the crumbs that fall from the master's table. म्हणलं, इल्लेपासून मेवल्यात पुरो. She did not let go.
तिने सोडून
She
देऊ
was
ना.
aggressive in her faith.
ती नीट करी आपल्या बाबा.
Aggressive in her faith.
नीट करी बाबा.
Jacob was aggressive.
जेकब नीट करी.
He said, unless you bless
ते
me,
म्हणले ज्या पर्यंत तू बेसंग
I
घाले.
will not let you go.
हांव तुका वसंग दिवचोच ना.
I will not let you
हांव
go.
तुका वसंग दिवचोच
I
ना.
will not let you go.
हांव तुका वसंग
You
दिवचोच
see,
ना.
Jacob was going through his struggles.
जेकब आपल्या झुजांसान वयतालो.
You may be going through your
जर
struggles.
तू आपल्या कष्टांसान वयता
You may be
आसतलो.
going through a time where your life is shaken up.
जर तू असल्या वेळेसान पासून तुझे जीवित आल्ला आसतले.
But unless and until your faith is not aggressive with God,
पण ज्या पर्यंत तुझं बाबा नीट कोण त्या
unless and
सांगता.
until you don't have a heart that says, I am not going to go back till He touches me.
ज्यापर्यंत तुझं बाबत असले की हांव वयचेच ना ज्यापर्यंत म्हाका हात लायना.
Just as that 12 years, that bleeding woman, she said, unless I touch His garment.
ज्या भशेन ती 12 वर्सां रक्तपात जाली तेणे म्हटले हांव तिच्या आंगोस्ताक हात लायल्याशिवाय.
Zacchaeus, he ran ahead and climbed that tree.
जे की मुखार धांवन करता तो झाडार चडलो.
That Syrophoenician woman said, you call me a dog, you call me unwanted, but I'm not going to leave
ते सायरोफिनिशियन वस्तुरेन म्हटले की तू म्हाका सुने लेगीत म्हण पूण हांव वयचेच ना.
till I'm blessed.
माझे बेसाव मेवले.
Aggressive faith.
नीट करपी बाबा.
Aggressive faith.
नीट करपी
We
बाबा.
need to have that kind of a heart
कसले काळज आसूंक जाय आमचे.
that presses on,
जे आपल्याक दुखलीत
that
रावता.
presses on,
जे दुखलीत रावता.
knows that our God is able.
जे जाणा की माझे देवा कडेन घडटा म्हणून.
That's what Jacob is saying.
आणि ते जेकब म्हणटा.
I will not let you
हांव
go
तुका वचूंक दिवचो ना.
unless you bless.
ज्यापर्यंत तू बेसाव घालिना.
Unless you bless.
ज्यापर्यंत तू बेसाव घालिना.
And after that moment,
आणि त्या उपरांत
we see what happens.
आमी पळयता कितें जाता तें.
We go chapter 32 of Genesis, verse 27. He says, the previous verse says, I will not let you go unless you bless me. Now verse 27, he says, and he said to him, what is your name?
आणि तेणे ताका म्हटलें कितें तुजें नांव.
कित्याक लागून देवान विचारलें? Why did God or the angel of God ask, what is your name?
कित्याक
They don't know his name.
कित्याक देवान देवाच्या अंजानी विचारलें तुजें नांव कितें तें नको आसलें काय तेजें नांव.
If you see in Adam and Eve's story, no,
आदा आनी इवेचे काणयेन पळोवंक गेल्यार
when Adam and Eve sinned
तेन्ना आदा आनी इव पातक करता
and they were hiding,
आनी ते लिपता.
God is asking, where are you?
देव जाता हुंय आसा तूं.
You think God did not know where they were?
तुका दिसता देव नको आसलेलो हुंय आसा ते.
Huh? God did not know in at 23.2 degrees left at this altitude, this long, whichever exact location, exact dot, God did not know.
देव नको आसलेलो काय ते हुंयच्या जाग्यार आसलेलो ते तूं जाणा
So why
आसलेलो.
was he saying, where are you?
कित्याक काय तो म्हणटालो हुंय आसा तूं.
Because he wanted them to come to him.
कित्याक तेका जाय आसलेली तेणी तेजे
Yeah,
सुरशेली.
now God knows the man's name.
आता देव जाणा हांगासर जेकबाचें
He
नांव.
knows the name of Jacob.
तो जाणा जेकबाचें नांव.
But he wants Jacob to speak his name.
पूण तेका जाय आसलें जेकबान आपलें नांव
He
उलयलें.
wants this man to confess.
तेका जाय
for him.
आसलें जेकबान सांगलेलें पुरगट केलेलें
That
पाचलेलें.
means now see what happens. And he said to him, what is your name? And he said, Jacob.
आनी मागीर तेणें म्हटलें जेकब.
He said, deceiver.
तेणें म्हटलें फोटोपी.
This is what I am.
हो जावन आसा हांव.
I am a deceiver.
फोटोपी.
This is my past.
हें म्हजें वदलें जिवीत.
You see, when you immediately talk of a name,
जेन्ना तुमच्या नांवा
like
विशीं
my classmates, whoever have studied with me in those days,
जेन्ना म्हजे क्लासमेट असलेले जे माझे सांगता शिकलेले त्या
when you
दिसान
talk about, when they picture my name
जेन्ना ते माझे नांवाचे विशीं चिंतता
with my face,
म्हजे
they
तोंडाचें चित्र
immediately
धरून
get my whole story.
तिंका सगली माझी
That fellow
कावणी
used to
कोण
do
येतात.
this, used to do this, used to do this. the whole picture comes.
सगळी कहाणी सगळी चित्र येऊन
Now
लागता.
Jacob is confessing.
आता जेकब मानून घेता.
He is acknowledging, yes, I am Jacob.
तो मानून घेता हो हांव जावन असो
I am
जेकब.
a deceiver.
हांव फोटोपी.
I am all that my history says I am.
जे कितें म्हजे इतिहास सांगता माझ्या विशीं हांव जावन आसा तो.
He opens up his life.
तो आपले जिवीत उक्ते
You see,
करता.
we cannot expect God to bless us unless and until we don't open up our lives to Him.
आमी चिंतूंक शकना की देव बेसांव घालता ज्या पर्यंत आमी आमचे जिवीत तेका उक्ते करिना.
We cannot come before God with makeup
आमी
on.
मेकअप लावन कोण त्या मुखार येवंक शकना.
You may shout hallelujah, but if you're still a deceiver inside, you have not changed on the inside, don't expect your breakthrough.
जायत गो तू भायरसान हालेलुया म्हणटास तर तू भितरसान बदलोंक ना जाल्यार भितरसान तू फटक्यो आसा जाल्यार तू तुजो विजमीत येता म्हण चिंती नाका.
Jacob confesses who he was.
जेकब मानून घेता तो कोण आसलो
And
तो.
immediately the angel,
आनी रोखडोच तो आंज आसा तो.
immediately
रोखडोच
he says,
तो म्हणटा.
then he said,
मागीर तेणी म्हणटा
your name shall no longer be called Jacob, but Israel.
तुजें नांव आनी केन्नाच जेकब म्हूण आसचें ना पूण इस्रायल आसतलें.
Israel means, okay, a man who has strived, or the prince of God, the prince of God. Prince.
इस्रायलाचे अर्थ जावन आसा की राजकुवराचो.
Prince.
राजकुवर.
From being a deceiver,
एक फोटोपी
now
जावन
God
करून
is saying, you're my prince.
देव म्हणटा तूं म्हाजो राजकुवर जावन
A
आसा.
change.
बदलप.
The change begins.
बदलपाचें कोमेस जाता.
We need to understand.
आमी समजून घेवंक
It
जाय.
all began with his encounter with God.
ते सगळे कोमेस जाता जेन्ना देवा सांगता अनुभव जाता तेचो.
It all began
सगळे कोमेस
with his
जाले
encounter with God.
जेन्ना देवा सांगता तेचो अनुभव जालो.
Encounter with God.
देवा सांगता अनुभव जालो तेन्ना.
Jacob was struggling on the inside.
जेकब भितरसानच झुजतालो.
Fears on the inside.
भिरांत आसलेली भितर.
Fears on the inside.
भिरांत आसलेली भितर.
Pain of the past.
दूख असले आदल्या जिविताचे.
He has gone through a relationship issue with his father.
तो संबंधाच्या विशयांच्यान पास जालो आपल्या बापाय सांगता.
He's gone through relationship issues with his uncle.
आपल्या अंकला सांगता तेजो संबंधाचो विषय
He's gone
आसलो.
through relationship issues with his brother.
आपल्या भा सांगता संबंधाचो विषय
He's
आसलो.
gone through relationship issues with his wife.
तो आपल्या बायले सांगता विशयांच्यान पास जालो
In
संबंधाच्या.
those days,
तुम्ही जाण त्या दिसांनी
he was with he had married Rachel and Leah.
रेचल आणि लिया सांगता काजार जालो तो.
Leah, he was deceived into getting married to.
तेका फटयलो लियाकडे काजार जावपाक.
His heart was for Rachel.
तेजे कांयच रेचला
He
पासत
was
आसलेलें.
deceived to marry Leah.
पूण तेका फटयलो लियाकडे
There
काजार
was a
जावपाक.
time when Leah and Rachel would plan who Jacob is going to sleep with tonight.
वेळ आसतालो की रेचल आणि लिया आसत ते योजिताली कोणा सांगता तो न्हिदतलो
He
काय
was
म्हणून.
a torn man in this relationship.
तो सारको पिनलेलो कसो तेका त्या
If you
संबंधान.
read that full story, you will find he must have been a tired man.
आमी तेजी काणी वाचून गेल्यार आमकां कळटा की थकलेलो मनीस आसलो
He
आसतलो.
must have been a man who was going through depression.
जायत तो मनीस आसलो जो चिंतल्यान डिप्रेशनान पासत जातालो.
He had an inner struggle.
भितरसान झुजतालो तो.
But the good thing that happened,
पूण बरी खबर जी जाली ती
he was alone.
तो एकसूर आसलेलो
And God met with him.
आनी देव मेळलो तेका.
And his life no more remained the same.
आनी तेजी जिवितांनी आसलेलो तशें उरोकूच ना.
He had aggression in his faith.
मीठ आसलेलो तेज्या
He was
भावार्थान.
aggressive.
पूण नेटान आसलेलो.
Unless you bless me,
ज्या पर्यंत बेसाव
I will
करिना
not let you
हांव
go.
तुका वसोंक दिवची ना.
And then we see God blessing him.
आनी मागीर आमी पळयता की देव आशिर्वादीत
Jacob.
करता. जेकबानसान
He's called Israel.
तेका इस्रायल म्हण
From
नांव
being a
पडटा.
deceiver,
एक फुटकिरो जावन
he's now
करून
being called a
आता
prince.
तेका राजकोर म्हण म्हणटा.
I want to tell you today,
हांव तुमकां सांग सोदतायज.
no matter on the outside, whatever blessings you may need,
जायत वेळ भायरसान कसलेय बेसाची गरज आसा जायत वेळ तुका.
when you're changed on the inside,
जेन्ना तूं भितरसान बदलता
you will enjoy the blessings of the outside.
तूं म्हजे नासतना खुशाल पडटा जी बेसां भायर आसता
When
तितून.
you're changed on the inside,
जेन्ना तूं भितरसान बदलता
you'll be able to rest and enjoy every moment of the outside.
तूं विसो घेवन करून खुशाल पडटा सगळे भायरच्या बेसान.
Most of the time, we are hoping for the blessings of the world around us.
चड फावटी आमी आशा तो बेसाव पास संवसाराच्या बेसाव पासत.
We are hoping for, marriage to be restored,
आमी बरोबर सोदता की आमचे काजार सारखे जावपाक.
financial breakthrough.
पयशाचे विजमेत.
We are hoping for, jobs.
आमी बरो आसता कामा पासत
We are hoping for our children.
आमी बरो आसता आमच्या भुरग्यां
But I
पासत
want to tell you,
पूण हांव तुमकां सांग सोदतां
these things, yes, God will work it for you.
देव काम करतलोच ह्या
But
वस्तींनी
you will not be able to enjoy it all unless you are transformed on the inside.
पूण तूं खुशालभर जावंक पावचें ज्या पर्यंत तूं भितरसान बदलना
Let God touch you on the inside.
देवान तुका भितरसान हात लावनी
Let God transform you on the inside.
देवान तुका भितरसान बदलवनी
When He begins His work on the inside,
आनी जेन्ना तूं भितरसान काम कमेस
you
करता
will be able to enjoy life to the fullest.
तूं संपूर्ण कांय जिवितान खुशालभर
That's when
आसतलो
you will know abundant life.
त्या वेळार तूं जाणा जाता सुबाम जिवीत कितें तें
Jacob had his struggles.
जेकबाचें झूज चलतालें
He had his pain.
आपलें दुकान आसलेलो तो
He had his sorrows.
दुकान आसलेलो तो
But his encounter with God
पूण देवा सांगता अनुभव जावन करून
changed everything.
सगळें बदललें
What about you today?
तुज्या विशयी आयज कितें काय
What is your heart's desire?
तुजे काळजाची आशा कितें काय
Would it only be the materialistic things around?
फक्त संसाराच्यो वस्तू विशीत काय तें
Or would it be God?
वा आसतलें की देवा
Unless you touch me.
ज्या पर्यंत तूं म्हाका हात लायना
Unless you touch
ज्या
me.
पर्यंत तूं म्हाका हात लायना
Unless you touch
ज्या
me.
पर्यंत तूं म्हाका हात
I will
लायना
not let you go.
हांव तुका वसोंक दिवची ना
Would your heart be fixed on God?
तुजे कांयच देहाचेर तीर
Would
आसतलें
your
काय
heart be on God?
तुजे कांयच देहाचेर आसतलें काय
Hallelujah.
हालेलुया
He is the Lord who hears every cry of us.
तो जाणून आमचो सोमीचो दर एक आमचे रडणें आयकता
He is our God
तो आमचो देव
who restores us.
जो सगळें सारकें करता आमच्या जिवितान
He is the Lord
तो जाणूचो देव
who wants to minister to you today.
जो आयज तुजे कडेन उलोवंक सोदता
Would you tell him today,
तूं आयज ताका सांगतलें काय
I want you above everything
म्हाका
else.
तूं सगळें जिखूनूच जाय
I need you, God.
म्हाका तुजी गरज आसा देवा
Would you say it today?
तूं आयज म्हणटलें काय
I
तसो
need you, God.
म्हाका तूं जाय देवा
You alone.
तूच एकटोच
You alone.
तूच एकटोच
You alone.
तूं एकटोच